Sudeva. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Jaya Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudiriye Nashtu Prayeshu Bhatreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttam Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Nashtaki. So continuing with the discussion on Shri Chaitanya Charitamrita, Adi Lila chapter 17, the pastimes of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in his youth. I forgot which verse was it. Okay, raising his hands. Text 32 onwards. Urdhva bahu kari kahu shuna sarva loka nama sutre ganthi para kanthe ei shloka. Raising my hands, I declare everyone, please hear me. String this verse on the thread of the holy name and wear it on your neck for continuous remembrance. When chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, in the beginning one may commit many offenses, which are called Namabhas and Namabarat. In this stage, there is no possibility of achieving perfect love of Krishna by chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Means at Nambhas or Nam Aparad stage. Therefore, one must chant the Hare Krishna Mahamantra according to the principles of the above words. Trinadapi Shunichena Tarurapi Saheshnana. One should note in this connection that chanting involves the activities of the upper and lower lips as well as the tongue. All three must be engaged in chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. I mean, this is the activity of upper and lower lips and the tongue, but again, the chanting should come out from our heart, which is when we really mean it. It's not just a lip service, but we should really mean it by asking Krishna and Radharani, please engage me in your service. The words Hare Krishna should be distinctly pronounced and heard. Sometimes one mechanically produces a hissing sound instead of chanting with the proper pronunciation with the help of the lips and tongue. Chanting is very simple, but one must practice it seriously. Therefore, the author of Shri Chaitanya Charitamrita, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, advises everyone to keep this verse always strung about his neck. Trinadapi Shunichena. In fact, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Maharaj also said the same thing. Strung always around about his neck means this is what is going to make us chant constantly. Otherwise, we cannot. Prabhu Agyay Karai Shloka Acharan Avashya Paive Tabe Shri Krishna Charan. One must strictly follow the principles given by Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in this verse. If one simply follows in the footsteps of Lord Chaitanya and the Goswamis, certainly he will achieve the ultimate goal of life, the lotus feet of Shri Krishna. So certainly, if this is Krishna's Kaviraj Goswami, Avashya Paive, he will get. But we have to chant properly. Tabbe Prabhu Shrivasera Grihe Nirantar Ratre Sankirtan Kaila Eka Samvatsar. Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu regularly led congregational chanting of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra in the house of Shrivas Thakur every night for one full year. So every night they would chant. Because what had happened was, Mahaprabhu, when he came back from Gaya, and all the devotees were happy, then he started this Kirtan program at Shrivas Angan. But one day, in the daytime, and one day Mahaprabhu told all the devotees that why we are wasting our time at night simply just by sleeping. We should not sleep. Let's chant whole night. The Kirtan should go on. And this nocturnal or night kirtan started at the house, and it used to go on full night. They just chant and dance. And also, um, corresponding this Lila, chanting and dancing, is the Ras Lila of Krishna and Radharani and the gopis. They are all equal. So Shrivas Angan, where Chaitanya Mahaprabhu used to perform this chanting and dancing whole night, so it is considered as non-different from Ras Sthali. Because the pastime is same as Ras Leela, so the place is also same as Ras Sthali. So when we go to Shrivas Angan, take darshan, we should have this mood that it's same as Krishna performing Ras Leela with the gopis and Srimati Radharani, the chanting of, the congregation chanting of Hare Krishna by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. कपाट दिया कीर्तन करे परमावेशे पाषांडी हासिते ऐसे न पाए प्रवेश. This ecstatic chanting was performed with the doors closed, so that non-believers who came to make fun could not gain entrance. So chanting of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra is open to everyone, but sometimes non-believers come to disturb the ceremony of chanting. It is indicated herein that under such circumstances, the temple doors should be closed. Only bona fide chanters should be admitted, others should not. But when there is large-scale congregational chanting of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, we keep our temples open for everyone to join, and by the grace of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, this policy has given good results, very good results. But Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, when he was there, and all these devotees who would chant and dance all night, Mahaprabhu wasn't chanting in the mode of doing this preaching activity. He was chanting and dancing in the mood of he wanted to relish the emotions, feelings of Srimati Radharani. Our chanting, well, one, of course, every chanter and every singer has their own mood. But from what we have analyzed and studied, one is to, could be, I mean, it's not that everybody is like that. One could be just to attract or just to become famous. Second, it could also be to please the Lord or Srila Prabhupada. Or it could be to please the opposite sex. It's also true. And just by my singing capabilities, or by my looks, or by my how I wear my dhoti, this and that, or how I keep my hair. There could be many things. But Mahaprabhu's chanting was for different reasons. Prabhupada's chanting, if we hear Prabhupada chanting, he only sang one tune of Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Just one tune. But it is so sweet, full of emotions, that tune is. It just goes deep inside the heart. If we just listen to it very, very carefully. That is the real purpose of chanting. To please the Lord, and in the process, help others transforming their hearts. That's all the purpose of chanting. And obviously by chanting, one is chanting sincerely, like Prabhupada's chanting is. One is really begging the Lord to engage me in his service by this chanting. But Mahaprabhu's order was to close the doors and do not let the atheist come into, and by by their mentality, they would disturb the Lord. Kirtan shuni bahire tar jwali pudi mare, Shrivasera dukha dite nana yukti kare. Thus the non-believers almost burned to ashes and died out of envy. To retaliate, they planned various ways to give trouble to Srivas Thakur. एक दिन विप्र नाम गोपाल चपाल पाषंडी प्रधान सई दुर्मुख वाचान भवानी पूजार सब सामग्री लाया रात्रि श्रीवासेर द्वारे स्थाने ले पाया. One night, while Kirtan was going on inside Srivas Thakur's house, a Brahmin named Gopal Chapal, the chief of the non-believers, who was talkative and very rough in his speech, placed all the paraphernalia for worshipping the goddess Durga outside Srivas Thakur's door. This Brahmin, Gopal Chapal, wanted to defame Srivas Thakur by proving that he was actually a Shakta or a worshipper of Bhavani, the goddess Durga, but was externally posing as a Vaishnava. In Bengal, there is perpetual competition between the devotees of goddess Kali and the devotees of Lord Krishna. Generally, Bengalis, especially those who are meat eaters and drunkards, are very much attracted to worshipping the goddess Durga, Kali, Shitla, and Chandi. Such devotees who are known as Shaktas, or worshippers of the Shakti Tattva, are always envious of Vaishnavas. Since Srivas Thakur was a well-known and respected Vaishnava in Navadip, Gopal Chapal wanted to reduce his prestige by bringing him down to the platform of the Shaktas. So because he didn't want everybody to give Srivas Thakur the same respect, he said he's just pretending that he's a Vaishnava, but actually he's a Shakta. Therefore, outside Srivas Thakur's door, he placed various paraphernalia for worshipping Bhavani, the wife of Lord Shiva, such as a red flower, a plantain leaf, a pot of wine, and reddish sandalwood paste. In the morning, when Srivas Thakur saw all this paraphernalia in front of his door, he called for the respectable gentlemen of the neighborhood and showed them that at night he was worshipping Bhavani. Very sorry, these gentlemen called for a sweeper to cleanse the place and purify it by sprinkling water and cow dung there. This incident concerning Gopal Chapal is not mentioned in the Chaitanya Bhagavat. So that's why Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami is covering it here. So what Srivas Thakur did, when he opened the door, he saw all this, and he understood somebody is playing games to defame him. So what he did, he called all the neighborhood gentlemen. He said, oh, actually, you didn't know, I'm not a Vaishnava, I'm a worshipper of Bhavani. And all the neighbors, they knew Srivas Thakur. So they said, this is nonsense, somebody's playing games. So they just called for a sweeper to cleanse the place and purify it with Ganges water. But the point of this pastime is, of course, what will happen to Gopal Chapal, we'll read later. We have to be very careful. People out of envy. And when we get envious of somebody, when do we get envious of somebody? Just like if somebody is a very nice devotee and he gives nice classes. And suppose I am a very good cook. So I will not get envious of that person who gives class because there is no competition there. So I'll get envious of him if I'm trying to give classes, but I'm not as good as he is. Then I'll get envious. And what does an envious person do? He tries to bring that other person who's better than him, he tries to bring him down to his level or lower level so that everybody gives him respect. And and doesn't give respect to that person who gives good classes. So whatever, everybody has good qualities. Everybody has. But this enviousness, it's so strong in our heart. We cannot see the other person getting respect. We cannot see the other person is more popular, more famous than I am. It's very, very strong anartha. Very difficult to get it out of our heart. So this Gopal Chapel, as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's order was, do not let anybody who's not a devotee enter the house, enter the kirtan. I don't want to see them. Because it disturbed the mood of Mahaprabhu. As I said, his mood was different. So Srinivas Thakur followed that. But this Gopal Chapel, he was a leader of all this so-called Brahmins. And he wanted to defame because he did not get the entrance. So why Srinivas Thakur? And in his house, Nimai is doing kirtan. So why he should be able to attend? Why not me? Instead of a person who's envious, instead of thinking, okay, Srinivas Thakur has the wonderful qualities, that's why he's so dear to Mahaprabhu. Let me also develop some qualities, or at least if I don't have qualities, let me serve Srinivas Thakur. So that Mahaprabhu will also give me mercy, and Srinivas Thakur will give me his mercy. But that's not the attitude of envious person. They want to stop the others' progress. Now at the same time, if Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, after seeing the paraphernalia of Bhavani worship, if he had thought, well, he is Supreme Lord, so he knows, but if he had thought, then no, this Srinivas Thakur, I'm doing Kirtan at his house and he's worshipping Bhavani, he's a Shakta, he's not even a Vaishnava, so I should stop Kirtan at his house. So again, if we are in a position of authority, the way we can decide, judge others, although we should not judge others, but at least for some reason, if we can make some decision, so decision should be based on proper facts. Not whimsically we should take decisions. We should do the inquiry, proper inquiry. But anyway, this is a long topic, very broad topic. First of all, enviousness. Second, trying to defame somebody, and thirdly, the person who is in the position of authority, how he should behave. And then funny thing is, suppose Srinivas Thakur, suppose Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had decided, no, he is not the right person, he is not a Vaishnava, so we should not continue Kirtan in his house, we can move our Kirtan place to somebody else's house. And if the other devotees, if they had seen this, and they would say, oh, Shiva, it's your karma, what can we do? No. Where is our compassion? Where is our mood of service? It's easy to say this is your karma. Very easy. If Prabhupada, when he came to America, and for almost a year, he struggled very, very hard. He struggled throughout to do more things. But in the beginning, just to establish himself and establish preaching, he struggled very, very hard. What if he had said, oh, this is their karma, what can I do? Let me go back. Where would we be today? It was Prabhupada's mode of compassion. Yes, he met only hippies at that time, and their hippies means not following any rules and regulations. It was his compassion. He, he, he stayed back and compassionately kept on preaching, kept on engaging them in the service, somehow or other, and slowly things started getting together. But Prabhupada didn't say, oh, your karma, what can I do? I came, I tried, I'm going back. And then he could have said, oh, at this age, I don't want any heartaches and headaches. Let me go back to Vrindavan. He could have gone back. And nobody would have blamed him. He tried. But this wasn't the right mode that Prabhupada wanted to establish. So when, of course, we all are in some position of leadership, somewhere or other, at home, at work, in the community, neighborhood, whatever, we should be very, very considerate. Compassion, find out the real facts about anybody, anything, and then decide. And that too, decision has to be guided by compassion, more compassion. I don't know if Prabhupada said this or somebody else, but I read it, that if a devotee is struggling and it's not being able to or doesn't want to follow, but he's still trying, but not with full. So then one should give him love and try to engage in loving service. And then somebody else, what if he still doesn't? And he is still very obstinate that he doesn't want us. What do you do? Then it was said, well, increase the quantity of love. So yes, it is difficult to do it practically, but isn't this what Krishna does with all of us? He still tolerates us, he still engages us, even though so many lifetimes we've been rebellious. He still tolerates us. He provides everything for our maintenance. And how much love Prabhupada gave to his followers. How much? Amazing. Even though if it was a sannyasi who fell down, he said, okay, just get married, get back into preaching. Follow the principle, chant the Hare Krishna, and get back into teaching. That is real compassion. Because ultimately Prabhupada's compassion or his dealings was not for our body, it was for our soul. So anyway, this is what Gopal Chapal did, and how Shrivas Thakur, he responded. Kalar path upare thuila oda phoola, haridra sindur ara rata chandan tandula. On the upper portion of a plantain leaf, he placed such paraphernalia for worship as oda fool, turmeric, vermilion, which is sindoor, red sandalwood, and rice. Madhya bhanda pashe dhari nij ghar ge prata kale shri vastata dekhi. He placed a pot of wine besides all this, and in the morning when Shrivas Thakur opened his door, he saw this paraphernalia. Bada bada loka sab ani lagu laiya, sabare kahe Shrivas, siya hasiya. Shrivas Thakur called for all the respectable gentlemen of the neighborhood and smilingly addressed them. Nitya ratre karyami bhavani puja, amara mahima dega brahmana sajjana. Gentlemen, every night I worship the goddess Bhavani. Since the paraphernalia for the worship is present here, now all you respectable Brahmins and members of the higher caste can understand my position. According to Vedic system, there are four castes: the Brahmins, Kshatriyas, Vaishyas, and Shudras, and below them are the Panchamas, literally members of the fifth group, who are lower than the Shudras. The higher castes, the Brahmins, the Kshatriyas, and even the Vaishyas, were known as Brahman Sajjan. The Brahmins especially were known as Sajjan, or respectable gentlemen who guided the entire society. If there were disputes in the village, people would approach these respectable Brahmins to settle. Now it is very difficult to find such Brahmins and Sajjans, and thus every village and town is so disrupted that there is no peace and happiness anywhere. To revive a fully cultured civilization, the scientific division of society into the Brahmins, Kshatriyas, Vaishyas, and Shudras must be introduced all over the world. The scientific division. Unless some people are trained as Brahmins, there cannot be peace in human society. So Brahmins are not just the teachers, but the teachers are like Brahminical scholars, but they should have other qualities also of Brahmins. But this is what Prabhupada is saying. So Shrivas Thakur, he called all the Brahmins and members of the higher caste and said, well, I'm a Shakta. I've been hiding this. Tabe sab shishta lo kare hahakara, aiche karma heta kaila, kauna durachara. Then all the assembled gentlemen exclaimed, what is this? What is this? Who has performed such mischievous activities? Who is that sinful man? Hadi ke aniya sab dur karaila, jal go maya diya sahi sthan le paila. They called for a sweeper or Hadi, who threw all the items of worship far away and cleansed the place by mopping it with a mixture of water and cow dung. So this is how cow dung is so pure. This is what scriptures tell us. Normally, stool of any person is very, very impure. Anybody, stool is very impure. But cow dung is the purest of all. The men in Vedic society who engage in public sanitary activities like picking up stool and sweeping the street are called adis. Sometimes they are untouchable, especially when engaged in their profession. Yet such hadis also have the right to become devotees. So they are untouchable not because they are hadis, but when they are engaged in their profession. So they have touched a stool, so they're cleansing the stool. So if they go after doing the profession, clean up, take shower, take bath, and come back, then they're not untouchable. This is established by Sri Bhagavad Gita, where the Lord declares, Mam hi partha vipashitya yapi supapya. O son of Pritha, those who take shelter in me, though they be of lower birth, women, Vaishyas, and Shudras, can attain the supreme destination. So, everybody is living a spiritual soul. Everybody is part and parcel of Krishna. And Jivera Swarupa Krishna is Nitya Das. Jiva. Every living entity is Krishna's Das. So everybody has a right to become devotees by coming in contact with devotees, by following the procedure of devotional service. So no such thing as untouchable in devotional service. There are many untouchables of the lower caste in India, but according to Vaishnava principles, everyone is welcome to accept this Krishna consciousness movement on the spiritual platform of life and thus be freed from trouble. Neither equality nor fraternity is possible on the material platform. See, on the material platform, it's not possible, no matter how much we say. Give the title Harijan or give the reservation quota. People, this is in their mind. They cannot get rid of this caste consciousness. But somebody becomes a devotee, then he's beyond all these worldly designations. When Lord Chaitanya declares Srinadapi Shanichena Tarorapi Sahishana, he indicates that one must be above the material conception of life. When one thoroughly understands that he is not the material body, but is a spiritual soul, he is even humbler than a man of the lower caste, for he is spiritually elevated. Such humility in which one thinks himself lower than the grass is called Sunichitva, and being more tolerant than a tree is called Sahishnutva, forbearance. Being situated in devotional service, not caring for the material conception of life, is called Amanitva, indifference to material respect. Yet a devotee thus situated is called Mananda, for he is prepared to give honors to others without hesitation. So that is a real position, real understanding of who is who. Not just giving some titles, just to politically make them feel better. No. Just like once somebody, Prabhupada was giving this lecture in a hall, and it was either the college students or some youngsters were there. And the youngsters, as we know, they are very rebellious in nature. They study a little bit and then they try to give hard time. So they were giving hard time to Prabhupada. And they were saying, why you are sitting on such a big Vyasasana, such a big seat, higher seat, are you better than us? Prabhupada, in fact, got down from Vyasasana and sat on the stage, on the floor. He said, no, I'm not better than you. They had read about this caste system. Are you first class or second class? Prabhupada said, no, I think I'm the fifth class. But I know what I'm talking, so you better sit down and listen. That's all. So very humbly he approached. So this is the right way of creating this proper system in the society, peace and happiness. Prabhupada further says, Mahatma Gandhi started the Harijan movement to purify the untouchables, but he was a failure because he thought that one could become a Harijan, a personal associate of the Lord, through some kind of material adjustment. That is not possible. Unless one fully realizes that he is not the body, but is a spiritual soul, there is no question of his becoming a Harijan. Those who do not follow in the footsteps of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and his disciplic succession cannot distinguish between matter and spirit, and therefore all their ideas are but a mixed up hodgepodge of problems. They're virtually lost in the bewildering network of Maya Devi. So of course, but that was political move. That has nothing to do with spiritual move. And to think that Shudras, caste-wise, they're untouchables. That is a wrong understanding to begin with, because Who would take care of the cleaning of the house? If the Shudra is there, he is cleaning the house. If he is untouchable and he is touching everything in the house, then we cannot touch anything in the house. And who will be responsible for, if not all cooking, then some part of the cooking, at least cutting up the vegetables, or cleaning the kitchen, cleaning the pots? Who's responsible for giving massage to the higher caste, or to the people, or to the masters? And so many other things, stitching the clothes, stitching the shoes. If they were untouchables, then how can we touch the things that they have touched? So this caste system that was not there originally, about this untouchable thing. Yes, if somebody has touched the stool, even if I touch the stool, I have to take bath. It's so simple. So is the person who's a sweeper. But other than that, there was no such thing as untouchable. It started during Muslim rule and then British rule. And then they wanted to divide up the Hindu society because of, and then the politicians came in for the political advantages. They just divided up the society. And the politicians, this is what they do, divide and rule. British did this. Mughals did it by force. British did it by politics. And now after 70 some years, we're still struggling. And this is a nonsense thing which did not happen in the earlier days. It's not mentioned in the scriptures. It is going on. Sad state of affairs. Tina din rahi se Gopala Chapal. And then what happened to this Gopal Chapal? Because he committed an offense against Shrivas Thakur. Sarvange haila kushta vahe raktadha. After 3 days, leprosy attacked Gopal Chapal and blood oozed from sores all over his body. So much so that he was kicked out of the society. Sarvanga bedila kite, kate nirantara, asaya vedana dukhe, jwalayanta. Incessantly covered with germs and insects biting him all over his body, Gopal Chapal felt unbearable pain. His entire body burned in distress. Ganga घाटे वृक्ष तले रहे तवशी या एक दिन भले किछु प्रभु के देखी. Since leprosy is an infectious disease, Gopal Chapal left the village to sit down on the bank of the Ganges underneath a tree. One day, however, he saw Chaitanya Mahaprabhu passing by and spoke to him as follows. And this did not happen, his seeing Mahaprabhu just like few days later. No. Mahaprabhu went to Jagannath. He took sannyas, went to Jagannath Puri, and when he came back to Navdeep, then Chapal, for so many years he suffered. Then he saw Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And he said, Grama sambandhe ami tomara matu bhagina mui kushta vyadhite hayachi vyakula. My dear nephew, I'm your maternal uncle in our village relationship. Please see how greatly this attack of leprosy has afflicted me. Loka sab uddharite tomara avatara mui bada dukhi mor karahu dara. As an incarnation of God, you're delivering so many fallen souls. I'm also a greatly unhappy fallen soul. Kindly deliver me by your mercy. It appears that although Gopal Chapal was sinful, talkative, and insulting, he nevertheless had the qualification of simplicity. Thus he believed Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to be the incarnation of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who had come to deliver all fallen souls, and he appealed for his own deliverance, seeking the mercy of the Lord. He did not know, however, that the deliverance of the fallen does not consist of curing their bodily diseases. Although it's also a fact that when a man is delivered from the material clutches, his material bodily diseases are automatically cured. Gopal Chapal simply wanted to be delivered from the bodily sufferings of leprosy, but Sri Chaitanya, although accepting his sincere appeal, wanted to inform him of the real cause of suffering. Eta shuni Mahaprabhur haila krudhaman, krodha veshe bale tare tarjana vachan. Hearing this, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appeared greatly angry, and in that angry mood, he spoke some words chastising him. Are papi bhakta dveshi tore na uddharinu, koti janma hi mate kidaya khayama. O sinful person, envious of pure devotees, I shall not deliver you. Rather, I shall have you bitten by these germs for many millions of years. Purport. We should note herein that all our sufferings in this material world, especially from disease, are due to our past sinful activities. That's for sure. And of all sinful activities, actions directed against a pure devotee out of sheer envy are considered extremely severe. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu wanted Gopal Chapal to understand the cause of his suffering. Any person who disturbs a pure devotee engaged in broadcasting the holy name of the Lord is certainly punished like Gopal Chapal. This is the instruction of Sri Chaitanya. As we shall see, one offensive pure devotee can never satisfy Chaitanya Mahaprabhu unless and until he sincerely regrets his offense and thus rectifies it. Shrivase kareli tui bhavani pujana, koti janma habe toro rorove pata. You have made Srivas Thakur appear to have been worshipping the goddess Bhavani. Simply for this offense, you will have to fall down into the hellish life for 10 million births. Koti. I think I want to stop here because this has a long purport and good purport. And this pastime goes on for a little more. So I'll take it up, the rest of it tomorrow. So we'll stop here, see anybody has any questions or comments.
Very strong punishment, Prabhuji.
Oh yeah.
Oh.
But this is for us to understand. The devotees are very dear to the Lord. Lord can take offense against him, but not against the devotees. But we take the devotees so casually. That's the problem. Okay, I'll stop here. You all have a safe and wonderful day. Hare Krishna. Jai Shri Ram.